mi gente? You already know this is Punch Drunk Boxing, aka Mr. Moo Shot himself. Ladies and gentlemen, you remember the movie Coming to America with Eddie Murphy? And the scene where he's in the train and he says, I am no longer the Princess Amunda, I denounce my throne. You remember the movie Lion King? When Mufasa died and Simba left Pride Rock. He didn't want to be king. Canelo Alvarez have left Pride Rock. Canelo Alvarez has denounced his throne in the king of boxing. As the king of boxing. Ladies and gentlemen, Canelo Alvarez doesn't want the responsibility to be king in the sport of boxing, because as a king, as a cash cow of the sport of boxing, and as the face of boxing, there is responsibilities. There's responsibility as a champion. But for the most part, there's a responsibility for the face of boxing, and that is to keep the standard in the sport of boxing. You are the example. You are the bar. And in every interview, especially of late, Canelo Alvarez is always saying, I do whatever I want to do. I do whatever I want to do. End of the day, it seems like he doesn't even care about what his fans want. I think that Canelo Alvarez has checked out. I think that Canelo Alvarez really just doesn't want the responsibility anymore. And I know why some don't want to hold Canelo Alvarez accountable, because of course you don't want to coexist with what many believe is a negative criticism towards Canelo Alvarez, and you don't want to give in. You don't want to give in to the negative criticism, because sometimes those negative criticism comes from Canelo Alvarez, massive haters. But you know, to be honest, we got to be real. The legitimate criticism, the criticism is legit. I believe that Canelo Alvarez, look, Canelo Alvarez is a tough man. He's a tough fighter. He's a great fighter. But Canelo Alvarez, I believe, is afraid. I believe that Canelo Alvarez is scared to lose what he stands to lose if he loses to David Benavidez. And I'm just not talking about an L. I'm not talking about just an L on the record. He knows that if he loses to David Benavidez, he's going to lose the Mexican fan base. And like I said, David Benavidez will be the face of boxing. And will be certified the face of Mexican boxing. And that right there will hurt Canelo Alvarez. See, Canelo Alvarez never experienced that. See, Canelo Alvarez is not undefeated, but he's undefeated in the terms that he's still been the face of Mexican boxing, even with his defeat versus Floyd Mayweather, even with his defeat versus Bivol. But the reason why is because you didn't lose to a fellow Mexican fighter. But if you lose, just like when Oscar De La Hoya beat Chavez, you become the face, not only boxing, but the face of Mexican boxing. David Benavidez has the ingredients to be just that. Now, I'm not going to say I ain't going to say that he gets the honeys like Oscar De La Hoya did. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that David Benavidez is going to drop an album like Oscar De La Hoya, but I'm going to tell you like this. Other than the playboy look, he got all the ingredients to be even a bigger star than Canelo Alvarez. Because the way that he talk, the way he resonate with people, even look, if you look at even hip hop platforms, you know what I'm saying? Twitter accounts, IG accounts, they always talking about David Benavidez. That's what Canelo Alvarez is afraid of, and he knows that David Benavidez has the ingredients to be bigger than him. Jaime Munguia didn't have it. We all knew that. David Benavidez has that. That's what Canelo Alvarez is afraid to lose. Because when he loses, because what keeps Canelo Alvarez up, what keeps Canelo Alvarez, what tolerates Canelo Alvarez is the fan base. But once that fan base turn on you, and I'm not gonna say turn on him, they just going to understand. Look, things move on, boxing move on, fighter comes and goes. It happens. It's the tradition in boxing that you may have to pass the torch, and that's what it is. And I do know who wants the responsibility, and that guy is David Benavidez. Yeah, whether people like it, people like it or hate it, or want to be naive and not want to admit. David Benavidez in his last 4 outings has been he has picked opponents that's really going to give him a run for his money. Very challenging fights. Caleb Plant, Demis Andre, Alexandre, and David Morrell Jr. And him selling out the T-Mobile Arena just to let me know that, you know what? damn, David Benavidez didn't even need Canelo Alvarez for him to sell out the arena. Everybody is climbing over David Benavidez because of the lack of food that Canelo Alvarez is giving not only the boxing fans, the entire boxing fans, but his fans, the Canelo Alvarez fans. There's a lot of even Mexican legends that want Canelo Alvarez to give us the fight that we all want to see. The only fight that we want to see from Canelo Alvarez is fighting David Benavidez, and he has slipped, duck, dodge those questions, always putting hurdles on David Benavidez. And by putting all these hurdles on David Benavidez now, especially more than ever, has Canelo Alvarez brand up against the wall. David Benavidez is gaining more fans after more fans. The more fights go by that Canelo Alvarez doesn't fight David Benavidez is gaining more fans. More people are trusting David Benavidez. More people are being fed good food from David Benavidez. If you understand what I'm trying to say. Even fights that a lot of fans don't want to see Canelo Alvarez in them. We didn't ask for Ryder. We didn't ask for the Triple G trilogy. We didn't ask for Berlaga. We didn't ask for Jaime Munguia. We didn't ask for none of those fights, really. And we all know that David Benavidez has been in position, right? Everybody been talking about it, whether you're a supporter or a hater of Canelo Alvarez or David Benavidez. That's the fight that we all want to see. And that's the fight that we only want to see Canelo Alvarez fighting. The only people that's gonna say that we don't want to see that fight is the fanboys of Canelo Alvarez. And I ain't talking about the fan base. I ain't talking about the real level-headed fan base. I'm talking about those fanboys that be on YouTube and Twitter that just want to debunk any criticism, even if it's fair criticism, that goes to Canelo Alvarez. As this weekend, if you really look at what happened this weekend and what transpired this weekend and the fan bases and the David Benavidez is everything that we want as a fighter, as the face of boxing. And most importantly, because I know that my fellow Mexicans are the most loyal fan base in North America, right? The best fan base. I'm going to tell you like this. The Mexican fan base has held boxing down, held boxing up. And especially, of course, with Canelo Alvarez. But I don't think that Canelo Alvarez is feeding the fan base anymore. Nah, it's all for him now. See, he doesn't talk like Manny Pacquiao, the 8th division world champion, 5-time lineal, 12-time world champion, the ambassador, the senator, the humanitarian, the greatest karaoke singer of them all, the GOAT, Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao, if you listen to Manny Pacquiao, always say, I'll fight for the fans. I fight for the fans. I want to entertain the fans. I fight for the fans. Manny Pacquiao always kept that same energy, and that's the reason why everybody loves Manny Pacquiao. You never needed to question Manny Pacquiao, who he's going to be fighting, if he's ducking, if he's dodging. Never really. Almost like Oscar De La Hoya in his prime. Shout out to Oscar De La Hoya, man. For anybody, any place, any time, win, lose, or draw, Oscar De La Hoya is highly respected just because of that. And maybe the boxing world is spoiled by the cash cow, especially a Mexican fighter like Oscar De La Hoya was. Nobody never needed to beg a Mexican fighter to dare to be great or to fight the fight that everybody want to see. I mean, the only fight that probably the Mexican fan base didn't get was Marquez versus Morales, right? It's the only fight. And I don't want that to take place again. We don't need that in the sport of boxing, right? We don't need that. We don't need, like in the heavyweight division when Lennox Lewis didn't fight Riddick Bowe. You know what I'm saying? We still talk about it. Damn, what would have been? We don't want to go with what would have been if Canelo Alvarez faced David Benavidez. I think that David Benavidez right now, setting out T-Mobile arenas, has adopted a lot of Mexican fans that was on the fence, right? It's almost like in politics when, there was people that was getting tired of the left. And they say, you know what, man? I'm going with Trump. And I think that now a lot of Mexican fans that was Canelo Alvarez fans see that David Benavidez is the truth. David Benavidez is the face of Mexican boxing now. David Benavidez is the, not going selling out, right? I think he's the face. He's the, I'ma say it. David Benavidez is the face of North America. Yes. I think everybody is happy to cheer for David Benavidez. David Benavidez speaks English, speaks Spanish, is entertaining. He talk the talk, he walk the walk. He wants to be great. He does everything. He's a knockout artist. He has all the ingredients to be the face. And I'm saying that he's the face because I don't think that Canelo Alvarez wants the responsibility of being the face. So I believe that Canelo Alvarez has denounced his throne as the king of boxing. The only way that I could see him really still want to enhance his legacy, if he just gives his legacy and the fans what we want and what he should want. Because at the end of the day, everybody wins with the Benavidez fight. That's the most lucrative fight in the sport of boxing. That's the best matchup right now in the sport of boxing. Right? And the fans want that fight. Everybody wins. And Canelo Alvarez is still in the back end of his prime. And David Benavidez is walking into his prime. Perfect scenario. Perfect scenario. Let me know what y'all think, man. Subscribe to the channel, smash the like button. I know there's going to be people out there that's going to disagree with me, but that's the way that I feel in the moment. Hopefully it changes. Let me know what y'all think. Subscribe to the channel, smash the like button. Love you, God bless. On to the next.